We've made it to another week. And, on some level, the stories every day, it just, it's more or less the same story with a slightly larger number every day in terms of what's happening with coronavirus. This is I want to say it's a slow motion tragedy, and in many respects it is. And it is very hard in the midst of this to for me to wrap my head around it, because everything that we contemplated in terms of problems that we were going to have with the economy are going to be much worse than we had anticipated. Everything that we had contemplated in terms of like what's going to happen to, kids who are supposed to be going to school, and kids who are supposed to go to school for the sake of their education, kids who are supposed to go to school not just for the sake of their education, but the ability to have meals, kids who are going to school, and not only what are they going to lose out in terms of education and in terms of nutrition, but also for many children who are victimized, school was their opportunity to be in regular contact with mandatory responders. In other words, people who must report when they see things that signal that children may be going through some type of duress at home or abuse. Not to mention, small businesses, restaurants, the economic fallout, and we don't know the long-term health fallout from all these things. And we have failures of our government across the board, both parties, not to the same degree, in terms of responding to this from an economic standpoint. But we have what I think is probably, I don't think there is an analog. Wilson did not mention, apparently, the pandemic in 1917, 1918. World War I was going on. I think there was some theory. The federal government, I don't know if it had necessarily the resources. And obviously, they were fighting a war. But I think what we're going through now is unprecedented in the history of the world. And I don't mean, I mean to have a government so willfully, and to have a political party so willfully in denial of a pandemic, it's just utterly bizarre. It is utterly bizarre. It is so hard to wrap your heads around this. I spoke to David Wallace Wells on Ring of Fire this week. It was supposed to be like a 15-minute interview. I think we talked for like 45 minutes about it. So if you want to check that out, if you want more of that, more of this just sort of like shock, you can check that out. But here is the good news, ladies and gentlemen. I can sit here and I can tell you that, we've had a president who has been willfully avoiding dealing with this pandemic. Here's the good news. Donald Trump has said, you haven't seen nothing yet. Here is clip number 1.
Thought possible. So we have many exciting things that we'll be announcing over the next 8 weeks, I would say.
Oh, 8 weeks.
Things that nobody has even contemplated, thought about, thought possible, and things that we're going to get done. And we have gotten done. We've started in most cases. But it's going to be a very exciting 8 weeks. A 8 weeks, like I think, Mike, we can honestly say nobody's ever going to see 8 weeks like we're going to have, because we really have. We're taking on immigration, taking on education, we're taking on so many aspects of things that people were hopelessly tied up in knots in Congress. They've been working on some of these things for 25, 30 years. Wasn't happening. But you'll see levels of detail, and you'll see levels of thought that a lot of people believed very strongly we didn't have in this country. We're going to get things done. We're going to get things done that they've wanted to see done for a long, long time. So I think we'll start sometime on Tuesday. We'll be discussing our one plan on suburbia, but that's one of many, many different plans. Then we're going into the immigration, the world of immigration, the world of education. We're going into the world of health care, very complete health care. And we have a lot of very exciting things to discuss. But cutting of regulation has been really something that I felt we could do, and we could do fairly easily. Nothing's easy in this country. We had statutory requirements where we'd do phase one and then we'd have to wait 90 days. We'd do phase two and we'd have to wait 60 days. We'd do phase three and we said, let's do phase four. Sir, I'm sorry, you have to wait 1 year.
So there it is, folks. God knows what he's got planned for the next 8 weeks. These are going to be it's going to be the summer of detail. It sounds like what they're doing. I mean, I'm trying to divine, what a lunatic is talking about. But when they're talking about education, when they're talking about immigration in particular, if you think back to all of the executive orders that has been reversed by the Supreme Court, it is because they have been so horribly sloppy at these things. Muslim ban, the census question. What was the most recent one? The DACA thing. And it sounds to me like they're going to try another bite at the apple of all these different things. And somebody said, we assure you, Mr. President, we're going to be detail oriented this time. We're going to do it right. And so we should be concerned about what he's going to do in the next 8 weeks. I mean, and frankly, we're going to have this problem of having anxiety about what Donald Trump is going to do, not just obviously for the next 8 weeks, August, September, October, really closer to 12 to 15 weeks. And then in the event that he loses the election, I would anticipate another 10 weeks of God knows what. We'll talk more about what's going on in Portland. If you've been listening to the AM Quickie, you heard about this Portland story 2 or 3 days ago, and we've been following it on that on the Quickie. But what's going on there? I don't know if folks have seen the video. It's lunacy. You have fully geared up in fatigues, non-military personnel, some type of federal unnamed police force, literally no insignia, no badges, no nothing. Just a little sticker that says police on it in a fully paramilitary uniform, dragging people off the street and shoving them into rental vans. No insignia, just rental vans that they got, I don't know, it hurts or something. They grab these people, they blindfold them, they bring them to a court, then they may or may not release them. It's messed up. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's...
Hopefully we can get a letter about it.
Yeah, we definitely need a letter about it. It was interesting to see the Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley both like weighed in on this. And obviously, the mayor of Portland is a little weak, it seems to me, but this is nuts. It really is nuts. And you wonder what's going on here?
Yeah, Chad Wolf is out there. The director of DHS is out in Portland this morning, posting photos of graffiti walls and things like that, and saying this is the reason why we're out here is the defacing of federal property, which is just such a flimsy reason. And I'm begging them to do a news conference and tell us what's going on.
Well, I mean, look, we had Bill Barr assemble these people at Lafayette Plaza. They obviously did not disassemble these teams of federales. I don't know what you would call them, federal paramilitaries. And they're, I don't know if there's some type of test pilot that's going on out there or what, but it's weird. It seems really weird that the head of Department of Homeland Security is overseeing an operation to get rid of graffiti. I mean, aren't we led to believe that there's more important things going on? But maybe not. I don't know. It's very disturbing. And again, I remind you, I have the book right there. Ordinary Men is the book it's called. It's about the Holocaust in Poland, and the military. They had real trouble with the military carrying out these type of orders at first, so they brought in police. Folks,